Radio Now 100.9's Indie Connection with Emily Matheny.
Hello, I'm Emily Matheny, your host. This week, I spoke with LaToya Pitts, Executive Director of the Christmore House Family and Community Center, about their participation in the United Way of Central Indiana in the Mind Trust Summer Learning Labs. The free program provides students with curriculum and enrichment opportunities at more than 35 sites around the city, including the Christmore House. So, LaToya, can you tell me a little bit about the Christmore House out in Hallville?
Absolutely. So Christmore House has been serving the Hallville and Near West Side community since 1905. We're a multi-service community center, meaning we handle all different aspects of life, all different ages. So we have early childhood education programs, we have after-school programs, we have life-sustaining programs where we help families, make sure that they're on their feet, they get access to food, we help find jobs, we help pay utility bills, just the things that they need to be like self-sustaining in the future. So we do those type of programs. We have programs for senior citizens. Of course, we are really big on youth and education. So we have a new technology lab that we just built. We have a boxing program that's been around for about 60 years in partnership with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. We have a lot. We just have a lot of moving parts.
Excellent. Which ties in greatly with the upcoming summer learning labs that are being done by the Mind Trust and United Way. Can you talk a little bit about the partnership that came about and how the Christmore House got involved with the summer learning labs?
Absolutely. So the partnership with Christmore House and United Way extends back a really long time. So Christmore House has always been a United Way agency, just meaning that they offer support when we need it. They are basically, we're the boots on the ground organization, and they make sure that we have some of the funding and resources that we need to make sure that the city of Indianapolis's most vulnerable populations are taken care of. So that's a well-established relationship. The Mind Trust relationship is kind of new. So when the pandemic happened, of course, Christmore House knew who Mind Trust was. They knew who Christmore House were, but we never really had a working relationship. Then the pandemic happened, schools stopped having in person, and so the Mind Trust reached out to a few different organizations to say, hey, we'll support you because we know that you're supporting the kids. What type of resources do you need to make sure that these students aren't losing the education? So we became an e-learning lab, meaning students came to our facility in lieu of going into the physical school building, and we supported them through technology to make sure that their virtual learning was happening. Since we did that so successfully, when United Way and Mind Trust decided to partner for summer learning so that the students didn't experience a summer learning loss, kind of like a jump start to next school year, they once again came to Christmore House and we partnered together to offer those services in the summertime. So it'll look like what we did in the fall, but it'll have a fun component to it, and there'll be some in-person learning that takes place as well.
Excellent. And because this is a citywide program with the Summer Learning Labs, the Christmore House is one of about 35 already announced locations, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And if people want to learn more on how to register or just more information in general, where can they visit to find out more information?
That's a great question. So there's a couple different places they can go to. If they want to register, they can go to Enroll Indy. Because that's the centralized location. Any of those sites that are offering the services, we also can do on-site registration, so we can register you through our site and then put you in the Enroll Indy website on the back end. You can reach out. There's information on the Mind Trust website, United Way's website, and of course, Christmore House on our website. You can find information out about the Summer Learning Lab.
Excellent. Who's eligible to come to the summer learning labs this year?
I believe so. For Christmore House, we will be supporting students kindergarten up through 7th grade. But the program overall, there are other sites that will go all the way up through high school. Christmore just doesn't have high school at our site, but there are sites that will. So any grade in school, kindergarten all the way up through seniors in high school, can get support in the summer learning labs. You just have to find the right site for you. Excellent.
And does that learning site have to be in your neighborhood, or can it be in a different location to address your needs?
It can be in a different location. It just, whoever meets your needs. So, for instance, if you have an 11th grader who needs help and they are needing to enroll in the summer learning lab, they can go to one of the sites that are outside of their neighborhood as long as they offer that grade level that they need. So that's why it was a big deal to make it a citywide initiative.
Excellent. And is there a cost to attend?
There is not a cost to attend. It is free.
Excellent. And people can find more information or get registered by going to enrollindy.com or any of the other sites, including the Krista Moore House's website, the Mind Trust website, and the United Way website, among others as well.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Perfect. So during the summer learning labs, will there be meals provided to the students?
Absolutely. So Krista Moore House personally will make sure that our students are served a breakfast, they'll get a hot lunch, and then they'll get a PM snack. So they'll eat 3 times that they're at our facility if they're there for the entire day. So, of course, if you leave early, you wouldn't have access to that food. But if you're there from when our program starts in the a.m. to in the p.m., you will get breakfast, lunch, and a PM snack every day.
Excellent. And what's the duration of the program, and how long is the day?
The program is 6 weeks long, and the academic piece of it happens in the morning time, and then there's enrichment programs. So in essence, if a parent had to work, they could drop their child off at 8 a.m. and they could stay at our site until 6 p.m. because our enrichment activities will happen after the educational component happens in the a.m. So education will happen from about 9 a.m. to 12:30. Of course, there'll be a break for lunch, and then 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock will be the enrichment activities that will support that academic learning that happened in the daytime.
Excellent. And then with the academic portion, what are you focusing on at the Krista Moore House?
So the Krista Moore House will be focusing on the basics. So your language arts are reading. There'll be math components, and I think they're going to do humanities, so math and humanities as well as English. So the core basic subjects. Excellent.
And you mentioned enrichment programs. What does that mean? What are the enrichment programs?
So at Krista Moore House, one of our enrichment programs is that we'll have a horseback riding club. So the students that are interested in that will be introduced to riding horses. They'll be able to do that weekly. We'll have a bike building program. We're partnering with 913 Sports. So students will have access to that. We'll do things like skating. We'll do a few water days. So any type of fun activity that we can still, encompass the learning that took place as well.
Excellent. And this is all happening within the community too?
Absolutely. Yep. All within the community.
Perfect. And as I was reading a little bit more from a press release, it mentions that Indy teachers can apply to be teachers, aides throughout the summer, and then there's also like a stipend that goes with that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically we want to make sure that we have the right educators and good fit. So just because typically when you're in a summer camp type setting, we may not necessarily have licensed teachers. This project and this program is going to specifically bring in those academic teachers that will be teaching those grades or have taught those grades so that the kids can get all of the academic support that they need. And then if you work in the school system or if you just like working with kids and you want to come in and kind of help be an aide, because we'll still have some virtual things that take place academically as well as some in-person stuff that takes place academically. So we are definitely seeking out licensed teachers, licensed instructional assistants that work in the school systems, anybody that has experience working with youth. There will be stipends paid out for those specific positions.
Excellent. And people can learn more at indysummerlearninglabs.com if you're a teacher or an aide who wants to get involved with the Summer Learning Labs here in Indianapolis.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And when you're hiring these teachers, are they teachers from the communities that you are serving?
I mean, ideally, that's not necessarily always the case because, as you know, we have a shortage of teachers in the community. But that is where we are gearing. Like, that's our first line of defense. We would like to get teachers from the community that work in those community schools that the students see all the time. If that doesn't work out, of course, we will go outside the community to find educators to fulfill those roles.
Excellent. And then will any of the programs be instructed in different languages at the Krista Moore House or at any of the other learning sites?
Some of the other learning sites, yes. There will be teachers that speak other languages. Krista Moore House actually has a few bilingual staff that speak a few different languages, so we have access to that resource should we need it. But there are specific sites that are geared towards that.
Perfect. So, LaToya, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add about the Summer Learning Labs?
I just think that we need to try to reach as many families as possible. It's a resource that the city is willing to pick up the tab for, so you don't have to worry about the cost. Your students will be safe and taken care of, and they will get academic excellence and enrichment during these 6 weeks. So I definitely think that families should enroll. Like, no matter what, you should enroll. Even if your kid is a straight A student, you should still enroll in these Summer Learning Labs. They are definitely going to get our city back on track when it comes to academics for our students.
Excellent. And one more time, people can find more information or register online at enrollindy.com. You can visit the Mind Trust website or the United Way website, as well as the Christmore House. And this is in 35 different locations currently throughout the city. And this will be a 6-week program. Do you have the start date, LaToya?
The start date is June 14th.
Perfect. So is there a cap to how many people can go to the Learning Labs at Christmore House?
So we do have a cap. We are capped at 60 students at Christmore House.
So if you want to be at the
Oh,
go ahead.
Yep. No, I was just going to say we have a cap at 60 students, but we have some sister centers that we can refer you to. We'll be able to get you in. You just may not be at Christmore House.
Excellent. So basically, even if there is not space at a location near you, there are resources to help refer you to another location that might have what you're looking for specifically academic-wise or enrichment program-wise or space-wise.
Absolutely. That's why that Enroll Indy website is so key, because they are kind of like the clearinghouse. So they will know everybody's numbers and where every center is at. So all 35 centers are managed through that Enroll Indy site. So it's very important. If you don't go to that Enroll Indy website and you come directly to the center, do that as soon as possible, because we will still put you into that system and it will still go through Enroll Indy so that they can make sure that all of our students are being, directed to where they can be helped at.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes perfect sense. So as we wrap up our final words goodbye, is there anything else you'd like to add or anything else you'd like to elaborate on?
Nope, I think that's it. Make sure you enroll your students.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
For the second part of the show, I spoke with John Helling, Chief Public Services Officer with the Indianapolis Public Library. We talked about the summer reading program and what the library has been up to. So, John, can you tell me a little bit about what the public library did as we kind of went into the pandemic and now what it looks like now that we're coming kind of out of it?
Sure. So going into the pandemic, we took the same measures that, a lot of other organizations and businesses took, requiring masks, putting up plexiglass, turning off drinking fountains and things like that. As we've been kind of coming out of the pandemic and, caseloads have been dropping and people have been getting vaccinated and things, we're starting to very slowly ease up on some of those things, taking it very slowly, letting more people in the building at the same time, things like that. We plan to resume some programming in June, and we plan to stop restricting the number of patrons in buildings around the same time. And we're going to be looking to add back hours that were cut during the pandemic as well.
Excellent. And what is the best way for everyone to stay up to date with the safety protocols that you have in place?
So we keep everything on our website. We keep it up to date with all of our current, practices. They don't change very often. So if you've been to the library in the last, few months, it's not going to be anything that you haven't seen already. We also keep, if we need to close suddenly for cleaning or anything like that, we keep that on the website too. So everybody can go to indypl.org, and all that information is there.
Excellent. And you've mentioned that you're going to start having programs back in person. So one of the programs I would like to know a little bit more about is the summer reading program and what that's kind of going to look like this year.
Yes, we are very excited for our summer reading program this year. It is our 101st year doing the summer reading program, so we're very, very excited. So the way it works, we have an app called Beanstack, and that's how you track your reading. If you're a child, or you're the parent of a child, you can set yourself a reading goal, and then you read or listen to someone read to achieve that goal. And we have prizes at different intervals. And we also have a paper form. If people don't want to use the app, that's fine. We have a paper tracking form, so you can track your hours that way. And then there are activities that kids can do to engage with the world around them that we also count toward prizes. So the theme this year is Discover, so it's things like, discover nature at a park and things like that.
Excellent. And who is this all open to?
So we have a kids version, but we also have an adults version. It's not the same program. They're built a little differently, obviously a little bit of a different audience. Mm-hmm. But there's a program that's out there for everyone.
Perfect. And when can people start the program this year?
So the program starts June 7th is when you can start redeeming prizes, tracking your reading and redeeming prizes.
Excellent. So they can do it through the Beanstack app or on paper. Do they have to have a valid library card to get started?
No, they don't, and they don't have to actually even read the library books if they don't want to. Anything counts. We just want people reading.
Excellent, excellent. And so can you talk a little bit about some of the prizes that people can do? Because I'm looking at the list, and these sound super, fun and out and about things to do.
Absolutely. So for kids, it's stuff like we have things that range from pencils to snacks, all the way up to tickets to a baseball game and yo-yos and those kinds of things. For grown-ups, it's obviously a little different. We have things like you can enter a drawing for a ghost tour of Central Library, or there's a $50 Meyer gift card, and those kinds of things.
Excellent. And so when does the summer reading program finish for this year?
So the last day to redeem prizes for the kids program is August 7th, right about the time when people are starting to think about going back to school.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so what other projects and programs are people going to be able to do this summer going into this fall?
So going into the fall, around about September, we're going to start to look at restoring things, that people are used to seeing at the library, like story times and computer classes, and kind of our quote-unquote normal programming activity that we had to give up during the pandemic. So people can look for that around September.
Excellent. And I know during the pandemic, a lot of things went virtual. Will some of those options still be available? For example, the Tamara Winfrey Harris Book Talk. Will Book Talks be coming back, or is there still going to be a digital way to be able to interact?
So we've learned a lot during the pandemic, and what we've learned is that there are some things that people like about participating virtually. We do plan to keep that option for people who want to participate that way, but we'll obviously also be restoring in-person programming. So we'll be trying to find the balance of what people want to attend virtually and what people want to attend in person. So can't say that everything will stay that we've done virtually. Some stuff might go back to in-person, but there's going to be a balance. But also things like Curbside that we created during the pandemic that we know people really enjoy, just on a convenience level, we plan on keeping that around too.
Excellent. So I saw on social media that your CEO is traveling between all the different library sites. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, yes, our CEO, Jackie Nitas, is in the process of visiting all of our locations over the month of May. She'll be stopping by each branch and hanging out for a couple hours and talking about our new strategic plan to folks, but also just gathering feedback from patrons, asking how the library's doing, what we can do better, what we can do differently, things like that. So the schedule of those stops is on our website as well, and it would be great if people wanted to stop by, and that's our opportunity to hear from people and take that feedback.
And if people aren't able to go to these talks with Jackie, how else can they communicate with you?
So there's a form on our website that goes straight to Jackie, and we try to respond to every single one of those patron inquiries. They can also feel free to email me directly if they'd like. I'm in charge of all the branches of the library, so I can help people too. My contact information is on the website.
Excellent. And just as we start to wrap up, as kids are out of school for the summer, what can they be doing while they're at the library? What's all happening?
Well, we obviously have books. We want to keep people reading and keep that summer slide from happening if we can help it. So we've got anything that a parent or a kid, wants to engage with to keep themselves sharp. Reading for fun is a great way to be ready for the fall when it's time to go back to school. We'll also be having, our normal kind of slate of programs for the summer. So we'll be having the animal programs that everybody loves and those kinds of things. So there's all kinds of ways to have fun at the library over the summer.
Beautiful. And John, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, just to say to everybody, we're here, we're open, we're safe. Please come visit us at the library. We'd love to see you.
Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, comments, or topics you would like to hear more about, email me at ematheny, that's EMETHENY at radio-one.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at EmilyDoesVideo. Until then, have a great week.
Radio Now 100.9's Indie Connection with Emily Matheny.